Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a last question mark challenge here today for the F1 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 4 of the season here at the Baku City Circuit. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be doing this challenge today with Pierre in his Red Bull Honda. Quite fitting, because unfortunately for Gasly, he looked pretty good in Q1, going fastest and building some confidence there. But before qualifying even started, we found out he was going to be starting from the pit lane actually, because he did not go to the weighbridge, which is a little bit harsh, but it's happened before in F1, and they're very strict with those kind of random searches. And so at a time of the calendar where he needs to be building some momentum, he's going to have a very tough time maybe in the race. But obviously Baku being Baku, a lot of chaos happens, slipstream happens, and especially at least in the game, it is very much you're very much able to recover from lower down the position, especially if you're in a top car. But obviously Gasly has struggled with that Red Bull Honda, so we'll see if we can do any work today in his car, and maybe some of that can translate to him in real life. Maybe we can do some wizardry and help him along, or either way, if I'm not doing that, I might just jinx him completely, and I will completely jinx his entire race. You never know. It has happened both ways, basically, in this series of the last question mark challenge here. So if you're unfamiliar with this series, we're here with the F1 2019 mod on the 2018 game. So we've got the full driver transfers, all the liveries and whatnot for 2019. We're here for a 25% race. So the race is short and sweet, so it means we can't dawdle around with overtakes. We have to make them happen straight away, because if I get caught up in traffic, basically makes my life harder to get up the order. Obviously, with this video being posted just after qualifying of the real-life Azerbaijan Grand Prix, let me know what you guys thought of that qualifying session and what your predictions are for the real-life Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas takes a very shock pole position, really, but, very cool Q3 session after a lot of action with Leclerc out in Q2 it was. We had the Williams also in the same place, the Baku Castle section. It's been a very chaotic race weekend as a whole at Azerbaijan, but Bottas from Hamilton to Vettel, and a very close ending and a frosty ending to the Q3 session. But here we go then for our last question mark challenge here with Pierre Gasly today at the Baku City Circuit. To 5 red lights here, and we are going to be underway eventually. His lights are on for an absolute age there. It's a bit of a mediocre start for us, but taking it nice and easy and simple into turn 1. Now dive down the inside straight away of the 2 Williams cars, and a Toro Rosso, I think, as well, just about to under Albon, as he gets caught up massively with Robert Kubica there on the entry and exit of turn 1. Now a bit of a kind of a traffic jam, as it were, as all the cars bunch up and try and navigate each other side by side there. Kvyat getting caught out, and now Lando Norris ahead of him now. Can we get some slipstream off both of them and maybe look to make a dive there? You can see there's some space maybe to go around the outside of Norris, but no, Norris instead dive bombs Ricciardo, who's very slow indeed. So instead I just have to overtake Kvyat and be very patient on the throttle and the brake point there on Ricciardo, because then he slammed right into the back of the Aussie man there, who's had a very poor sector 1 going down the order from where he was up ahead of the grid. And Norris had a very good one with that kind of very quick in a straight line McLaren car of his. But can we make a move now? Ricciardo goes very defensive, so he opens up the corner to make the attack, and so the former Red Bull man is now racing the current Red Bull man. We have done him around the outside just before the castle section. Of course, there you have to get the move done, because there's no way you're going side by side there. So obviously I was always going to have the corner having a little bit further ahead on the circuit there. So we're up into P15 by the time we get through lap 1. Now onto the end of lap 2, still P15 though, as we're unable to get Norris so far. But now this might just be it as we go on to the 3rd lap. We might just be able to get him, as we've got a lot of good exit there with the overtake mode as well on ERS. No DRS quite yet, but rich mix going as Hamilton sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix up ahead. We're up into P14. Giovinazzi is the next car, and the Alfa Romeo Racing team up ahead. We have to still watch out for Norris there though in the background, as he's right up much off in the brake zone of turn 1. But we're setting a personal best, and now with a bit of clean air we can maybe try and catch up. Yellow flags though. Is there going to be anyone off ahead of us? Doesn't look like. I think it's actually yellow flags for someone behind us, in fact, as there's now 19 runners, but we're still P14 there. And so now we're closing up to Giovinazzi on the end of lap 3, who's also trying to close up on, I think that's the other Renault of Hulkenberg, I think I want to say. If I look ahead, we've got DRS, but right now won't have enough oomph to quite catch him by the time we get into turn 1. So I have to be a little bit patient on that, but he goes for a move around the outside. Yes, it is Hulkenberg and Carlos Sainz, and Giovinazzi gets massively squeezed out there and gets caught out napping by us down the inside. We make a huge dive to the inside of Hulkenberg. I've got to admit, that was a very wild dive, a last-minute decision there, because I thought, okay, he's giving us a little bit of room, I'll try it. But then I also made a bit of contact with Giovinazzi, locked up my front left, so that wasn't a move I wanted to try, but we made it anyway, and now we've sailed one around the outside. It's a very bold move on Hulkenberg. We made it work now. P12, little bit aggressive initially on that first left-hander in turn 2, but eventually turn 3 was a much cleaner and okay overtake there, I feel, as we now clip the wall, as we're really pushing the limits of this car and the circuit as we move on towards lap number 5, chasing after Carlos Sainz. But I think he might just pull into the pits there as he pulls to the left as the pit stop phase now begins. We're going to continue on now and try and slipstream Sergio Perez and just try and continue this good run we've had. And to be fair, the tyre wear hasn't actually been that bad for us here so far in this race. I'm just going to continue on, but unfortunately we get caught up. It's not Perez, my bad. It's Lance Stroll, the Canadian, the other man in the Racing Point car. So we're going to try and overtake him maybe. He doesn't go really defensive like Ricciardo did, but he does go a little bit too early on the brakes. And as we have a screen freeze in the middle of the corner, we still make the overtake there. Probably a little bit more aggressive than I was wanting to because of the screen freeze. I just didn't know what on earth was happening at the time as I was mid-apex and the game decides to glitch out there, unfortunately, but we made it work, and now we're up into P6 as it were, and we're going to be actually up into P1 of the Azerbaijan GP. Is we're going to continue on for one more lap number 6, really limit the laps we're going to be out on the super soft tyres, and everyone else will already pit ahead of us. So let's see. I don't really know if the overcut's really a way to go at Azerbaijan, to be honest. I probably lost a little bit of time on this out lap, but I just felt like I wanted to continue on some free air, basically. I think, that's going to be a big thing for tomorrow for Gasly's race, and also for the likes of Leclerc as well. Traffic's going to be the issue. Obviously, the Ferrari has a decent power, advantage over most cars, so maybe Leclerc won't have much of an issue, but Gasly, we saw at Australia, he found it hard to get past traffic, even though he should have technically been able to breeze past him, so I think that might be something he needs to think about in real life, about trying to try some alternative strategy to get himself into some clean air. But anyway, as we come out there on lap 7, we have actually jumped Carlos Sainz in the pit stop phase, so the overcut kind of worked. I mean, we were going to overtake Sainz anyway, inevitably, I would say. And now as we move on one lap later to lap 8, massive lock up then. Oh, sideways action from the Haas cars there. I think that was Grosjean, nearly got T-boned by Kimi Räikkönen as he got nearly half spun there by his teammate Magnussen up ahead. So the two Haas cars tripping over themselves, and Kimi also getting caught up there in the second Alfa Romeo racing car we've seen this afternoon. So now can we try and overtake one of these guys? The Alfa Romeo is very good in a straight line, so that might be a bit of a difficulty. You might have to try something as Räikkönen tries to overtake the Haas. We try something whilst they're too preoccupied making overtakes on each other maybe. At the same time, it's not helping us at the moment being stuck like this because Carlos Sainz is bunching up with us as well, so you have to be wary that McLaren is very good in a straight line here, might just be able to get us. But saying that, with overtake mode, look at the speed we're getting. Overtake mode OP there through the right-hander. We get nearly boxed into the wall by Grosjean and Räikkönen there, but we make the double pass on the right-hand side. I'm trying to cut across Grosjean here a little bit, but he's still got his nose in there, just getting his elbows out now, as well as Räikkönen. We now go to the inside, go defensive as Räikkönen sails around the outside there. We just about managed to hold on, and we're up into P8 then. So we're into some decent points here, I would say, from last place on the grid. Not as high as I hoped, maybe, at this stage of the race, but of course there's still a few laps left, and we've got some clean air up ahead. But look at that. The speed I mentioned of the Alfa Romeo racing car gets Räikkönen right back past with DRS. Obviously, no DRS for us as there's no one ahead of us, and so he's back ahead. So we have to re-overtake the Finn at some point. So we now move on to lap number 10, the same part of the track where he overtook us. We're going to re-overtake him in the same fashion to the inside there. We're just going to squeeze through, a little bit easy under braking, but we managed to slip through. But Räikkönen's still there. Can we try and brake early? Go for the switchback move maybe to the right-hand side? No, that's really not worked. I haven't had the traction I thought I was going to get there, so that's a bit of a failure. And so we have to wait patiently on towards lap 11 now, onto the main straight with DRS, overtake mode engaged. Rich mix not going because we don't have too much fuel to actually burn, so I'm in standard mixture right now because I was actually at some point negative earlier on there and had to save fuel whilst we were stuck in that traffic. But now we're back up ahead of Räikkönen once again into P8, just about as though we have a lock up on the front left. But we've got 2 laps to go, so hopefully this will be it. We go defensive to Räikkönen there on the next left-hander, and by the time we get through to the end, towards the end of the last sector on lap 11, we're closing up on the the other Racing Point car of Sergio Perez, who I mistakenly thought we were catching up to earlier on in the video. But here we go now, a massive amount of time gained there, so he's not very confident on the brakes there, clearly. And he's actually looking very weak. I don't know if he has damage or something. He's going quite slow, and so we're going to take a wide line, then tight entry, and there you go. He locks up, and it's a very poor exit there. Really shoddy driving from Perez, and able to sail around the outside even before the S section there to the back, to the main pit straight. So now we move on to lap 13. Very poor left-hander though in turn 2. We nearly hit the wall. Had to go very slow to slow that thing down. And Raikkonen's coming back and knocking with DRS once again. He goes to the inside for the second time. Now we squeeze him, but he's still there. But this time we have a much better entry to the next corner. We're able to keep it on the outside there. But I may have just shot myself in the foot, because he's going to get now the DRS into Sector 3. And so as you get on the curbing, not too great of exit. Lewis Hamilton has won this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's see what happens in real life. Obviously, he's in second place on the grid, so there would have to be a Mercedes swap in real life. So let's see if I get anything right in those kind of predictions. But right now, I'm trying to do my best to get P7, which is technically usually best of the rest position here. But Raikkonen comes charging, and like I said, I've shot myself in the foot, and he's going to get us on the line for P7, and annoyingly I have to finish down in P8. Frustrating right at the end there, but still a pretty good recovery, I would say. But you can clearly see traffic definitely did hound me, as it might do for Pierre in real life tomorrow.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel.
So yeah, guys, let me know your predictions for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix tomorrow after watching real-life qualifying here. But if you guys did enjoy this last question mark challenge here with Pierre, be sure to smash that like button. Come back to this video and let me know if I did any wizardry after the race tomorrow. Let's see if I predicted anything. Sometimes it does happen, but also I think the pattern's been so far in 2019, I've jinxed drivers rather than giving them good luck here with the last question mark challenge. So we'll see. If you're on your own here, to subscribe for weekly F1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.